Okay, looks like we are recording. I'm going to call to order the March 14th, 2023 meeting of the Auburn Municipal Development District at 6:01 p.m. Jesse Hour is present, Vicki Dunn is present, Jack Hopper is present, Carolyn Cashin is present, and Johnny Bergeron is present. Your invocation of pledge of allegiance. Carolyn, can I do my usual? And
Yes. Father, we just thank you for this great nation we live in. We thank you for the wisdom of our government officials. We ask that they be blessed and they listen to you. Father, we thank you for this board. We thank you for the prospects that we have coming, and we thank you for your grace. In Jesus' name.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Chris, just to check, are you able to hear? We've got some construction going on and we've got a fan going.
Yep, I've got you. It's hard to hear unless only one person's talking, and that hasn't happened yet. So,
okay.
Okay,
Sure.
I say we can probably turn that fan off, maybe.
Hopefully we'll get contacts out.
Or just unplug it.
Community announcements. Items of community interest may include recognizing citizens and staff for outstanding contributions to the community. A reminder about an upcoming event that is organized or sponsored by the governing body, and announcements of an imminent threat to public safety that has arisen after the posting of this agenda. Did you have anything?
No.
You know, council, you want to talk about council stuff there? No? Okay. Don't believe we have any. I don't see anyone on either, so we're going to skip citizen input and move straight to the consent agenda items. Items placed on the consent agenda are considered routine in nature and non-controversial. The consent agenda can be acted upon in one motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of board members or staff. Consideration and action follows. Minutes for the following board of director meeting for the February 14th, 2023, the February 2023 staff report, and the February 2023 monthly financials.
I did not see anything that I had questions about.
So here,
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as stated.
I'll second it.
motion by Vicky, second by Carolyn, all in favor. Motion carries 5-0. New business items previously requested by board members, city staff, or citizens for consideration by the board. Consideration and action regarding the Auburn Municipal Development District's targeted improvement grant application.
So this was something that I went ahead and asked Brett if we could put this on the agenda, because when we were going through it last year, we never did really, we approved several things, but we never approved the final draft. At least not that I could find, and not that Jesse could find, and not that
I couldn't find it
you
either.
know, Brett could find either. So I wanted to make sure that we kind of close the loop on that. I did ask Alicia to go ahead and review it to see if she had any questions. And she did. She went on vacation, richly deserved. But she had sent me a couple of questions just for clarification's sake, based on the last meeting that we had in 2021 about it. So I did respond, but we're kind of going back and forth. So frankly, at this point, we're going to have to table it until next meeting. Because we don't have her review yet back. And I want to make sure that we have that before we make a full sign off on it.
Okay.
But I would ask that we go ahead and have this on the next agenda.
We're in a point of having to do a special. We may put it on there so we can do it address. There's some interest right now.
Well, and we need to have the final one. And like I said, as I was doing some research, I couldn't find anything other than just the fact that we had approved with attorney review and with comments and answer or questions answered. And we didn't have that either on the next one, because that was when we were talking about actually having exhibits and some examples for the tip. And so we ended up not, or TIG.
I think it got sent back to Jason to put some of that together as my remembrance, and then we got Leslin, and then it just got.
Yeah, a few things kind of fell by
fell
the
through the
wayside.
cracks.
Yeah. So again, like I said, trying to kind of circle back and make sure that everything's signed off on appropriately and correctly.
Mhm.
So we'll just have to table this until next meeting.
As noted, we don't have a grant yet, grant request yet, so there's nothing to take action for. Number 2.
Okay.
Did you have anything on the website, Vicki?
Just an update. I did go ahead and ask, what is her name? Her name just failed me. Michelle? Is that right?
Oh, Melissa.
Melissa. No, that's close. I asked Melissa to go ahead and make the updates as far as taking off some of the prior stuff for GPS and GPS and taking off the mention of some of the we had some old people on there. So I had her go ahead and update that.
She's with who? Melissa's with who?
She's
Our web person?
a web person that we use.
McDormand, if she does web design.
I'm just trying to remember the company name.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember.
McDormand.
McDormand, she does all of ours, and that's when we came up with it, because she's so reasonable to make changes and stuff. She's been charging.
She
our
did
money.
it that same
Day.
day.
She's quick, and she's.
Very pleasant to work with.
Yeah, and she probably hasn't seen everybody else's process. 'Cause it was the-
So that has been updated. That was actually updated, that week, I think I sent you a note on. So I would ask that everybody go through the website at their convenience and just make sure that there's nothing that I've missed. Chris, I would ask if you don't mind going through. I believe I caught everything. If I did not, my apologies. But please just let me know, that you all are okay. I think we successfully eliminated everything on there.
Where we at on our maps that we were gonna add to our website and stuff? I mean, Charles was, a lot of that stuff going on. Where we're at with maps and stuff.
Dale with Flyer View, that's who that is. We are working with him. We purchased 10. I can't remember what they call slides or whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
And I gave Christy 5 of those, and she's working with him right now to develop, I think, a downtown, our developments, and a couple of others. She's been working with him for about a month, and we're saving the other 5 for the MDD director, so that they can come in and kind of take a look at what some other cities have done. I didn't want to take them all up because that's all we had. So as soon as we have somebody, I mean, that'll be able to roll with immediately.
There's in that, last time I looked on the website, I could be wrong. It seemed like last time I looked on the website, there was some links that just didn't go anywhere. It seemed like they were related to maps. Is that
Which makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
We do have some maps that we can share to put on there. We have the zoning map.
Well, I'm just curious about where that program was, just a good opportunity to ask about it.
We're
So,
still rolling.
right.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like we have any action we need to take.
Mm-mm. Oh, well, I mean, just no action, but just
Yeah,
please look
just-
at it and make sure that there's,
Yeah, no board action.
yeah.
Consideration action regarding the application server on the Auburn Municipal Development District Board. It's in your emails today. There were, I didn't realize we had that many
For
older
I thought
applications.
there's-
I spoke with Mark Abernowski prior to him submitting his application. Mark served on our Home Rule Charter Commission. And is more than happy to serve. I say this, I mean, after experiencing Home Rule Charter with him for, what was it, Charles, 4 months, 5 months?
Yes.
His attendance was excellent. I don't know that he missed more than one meeting, maybe, if that. And reasonable discussion. I think you guys would mesh in with him. Mark Abernowski.
Okay, because there is 5 applicants.
keep it.
Okay, yeah, Mark's the one that's like from this year. There were a couple from later in the year last year, and
Yeah.
I spoke with someone, maybe it was the mayor, about one of those people being more appropriate perhaps for a different board. But
We got four. Am I missing something? Yeah, I just got.
There were several on here that were
That's four.
really had some really good background, I thought. I was amazed.
I'm not gonna lie, most of what is on Mark's resume, I don't understand. I do understand the word socks, but I'm relatively sure that is not what the word means relevant to his resume.
Is SOX is what it's,
No, it says SOCKS. I just,
oh,
blue coat changes include PAC files, socks, plugs and filters. So, but I'm glad that you know him and have, know that he will come to the meetings and is involved. I liked
basically lives
his,
across the street from us.
oh, does he? We won't
Downtown.
we won't hold that against him. I also liked Michelle Miller's. Now hers was dated August of last year, so I didn't know if she would still be.
No, it was May last year, I think.
I'm looking August 2022.
Okay, well, the file name said 5, so. it's-
Oh, I see. Okay. I think those were my top two. Again, I liked the fact that she had experience in, construction management, partnership building, R&D, financing, that kind of developments.
Yes.
The Peter Dyer, he also has municipal development district and been on several planning and zoning, parks and recreation and capital. I don't know when his was put in, but January 18th, but his looked really good too.
And of course, Holly has, the history of the town.
Mhm.
So,
So we don't know if any of these are still like,
So other than Mark, we would need to contact the other ones and make sure they're still available. I believe, I don't see. Charles, you had to know if any of the, because like on Peters, he indicated he was interested in other options as well. I don't think he
Peter
was
Dyer.
yeah.
Yeah, he was,
appointed. So we could-
not that I'm aware of. He asked for capital improvements, impact fee, MDD, parks and regs, planning and zoning.
Because I know they appointed somebody to Parks and Rec, I want to say last month, but I don't remember who it was off the top of my head.
When did we get the new online application for that?
About 6 weeks ago.
It's like within a month or so, yeah.
I like it.
That's it. Holly's is 123, so it's relatively recent.
Right.
And so
I didn't-
is,
Did you
Peter
really see,
Dwyer.
I didn't really see, she was on Aubrey Education Foundation.
I think she still is.
Yeah, I noticed that this
Holly.
one, Michelle Miller, she had a lot of management and stuff, which was more, I thought, and the Peter Dyer, unless he's gonna be on something else, I thought those actually had more information to, not knowing any of them, to what we actually do and need.
And I think that's why Jesse pointed out that Mark, he knows Mark because he's been on the board with him before. And so he knows that he will show up and engage and be,
Yeah, I tried to recruit him during the World
I
Charter.
had an application in this one separate, that's on me, putting them together. So,
I tried to recruit him during Home Rule Charter. He wasn't in a position to do 2 volunteer activities for the city at the time. So, but I've been somewhat regularly. Hey, by the way.
It was another person for the parks.
Okay.
Last one, not him.
And then
and do all 4 of these, they all live, obviously Mark does.
city's what I saw.
Yeah,
yeah.
so all of them live in city. Okay, good.
Which that's what we need is.
Right.
Two city.
Michelle lives in Arrowbrook and Peter lives in Silver.
those are.
City.
No,
Arrowbrook is ETJ and Silver.
Okay, then we don't have an.
Silverado is also TJ. Okay.
I'm sorry, who's ETJ?
Both Peter
Michelle
and
Michelle and Peter.
And Peter are ETJ? Okay,
Yeah,
so,
Michelle's Arrowbrook.
And I thought when we ran the utilities out there that we jumped and they became city. Was it just the, which one, there is one,
Twin
that-
Ridge.
okay.
which is just north of Arrowwood.
Well, that answers that.
So the ETJ, it takes those two out. So that's higher than Miller.
It's a shame.
Place 6 is this year.
So which
Four.
leaves two, if there's
Hang on
still,
a second.
If she's still interested.
And then place 4 is 2024.
Okay.
So we actually, yeah, Johnny and Carolyn are both up this year as well. So we'll need to address that later on. We don't have to do that right now.
Yeah.
these don't really tell when these came in. Like if they're still current or if they've been, I didn't realize we had applications sitting over there when we've had empty spaces to
Well,
fill.
Holly and Mark were both in, this year. Holly's was in January and Mark's was in March.
Yeah, like I
Both
said,
of
Yeah,
those are-
they're at the top of the email, Carolyn.
Well, I saw that, but I thought,
That's when
I
the,
thought
yeah,
that
it was,
yeah, okay, I just glanced at and saw Jenny and thought, oh,
That's what I thought.
and she got it too, because the way I was like, okay, that's when.
Yeah, I thought, you know, and again, I can't remember exactly whom I spoke to. It may have been the mayor, but I thought there was some interest in Holly moving to P and Z. Do you know if there's still a slot on P and Z, Charles?
Do not.
Okay. That was a discussion I had earlier offline, obviously. So
is that something that potentially we could go ahead and say for sure? Maybe one of, like Mark would be good and we could
yeah,
request that.
and we could slide this
then-
again. We'll put it on consideration for next
Yeah.
month again.
Yeah.
Why would we not just accept both of them if that's the only?
Well, I know for a fact Mark is still interested. I
Right.
don't know for a
Yes,
fact
sir.
if Holly is. And then there was some discussion, like I said, there was some discussion in the case of her about her possibly being appointed to another board, and she's listed as also applying for P and Z.
So I'd rather request if they're still interested versus
Yes.
just going ahead and saying
And I know for a fact
yes.
Mark is interested, because I talked to him
Okay,
on
that makes sense.
Thursday or Friday of last week, and I'm like, hey, I put an open slot. I put a spot on the agenda, counting that you'll get it done. Here's your reminder to put in your application. So I know he's for a fact interested and only applied to this board. Holly's got listed as 2 different boards. And I thought there was some discussion about her being needed more on P and Z. So,
I can see that, and we hold off and see what else we get in.
Yeah,
and that gets us to easier to achieve quorum status.
it does.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, I appreciate the fact that you already know him and know how he would kind of fit in with our thoughts. And I mean, he's definitely,
I think you'll find him quiet, especially early on. But as like when we'll try to move on, you know, had more input.
I
which
was
is kinda
quiet.
natural.
I was quiet like the first 5 minutes.
I can't imagine that. All right, so do I hear a motion?
I would make a motion that we request Mark Abernowski to join the MDD board and forward it on to the city for their review.
Place 4.
Place 4.
Second.
Motion by Vicky, a second by Johnny. Curious to keep up my notes, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Did somebody say they know Peter?
No, but
Okay.
you were concerned that he was not in the city, right?
Oh, no, I was listening to everybody at the same time and he has other boards on here and you can have ETJ on Parks and Rec.
Yep.
But did somebody, so nobody said they knew you?
No.
Okay,
No, probably
No, but
mix of
since-
the conversations were kind of,
yeah.
this board's small enough, we had, to, crosstalk just. a
Oh, no,
little.
I understand. I just want to make sure I didn't miss something that I could add, that I can tell Parks and Rec.
And it has nothing to do,
Or-
obviously, with whether they're either Michelle or he are qualified,
yeah.
just they're ETJ, so we have no open spaces unless somebody wants to fire me, in which
No.
case.
Our goal was to provide you with every single person that put MDD Same thing for parks, every single person that for the parks and leasing program.
I appreciate that.
If you'll double check with the P and Z item tomorrow, then you know, can circle up on whether if you knew you're there, you know, kind of thing.
Are we able to go ahead and request that that be added to the city council agenda?
Yeah, I'll just make a note, we'll put it on it. It's already a placeholder for you next agenda.
Perfect.
And I was just waiting for tonight for you to tell us what you want.
Perfect.
We'll add that on there.
Thank you.
Okay. I see you pausing.
Yeah, I had a thought, but I can't.
Okay. I want to make sure before we move on to 5.
No, you're good.
Consideration and action regarding the Aubrey 380 Chamber of Commerce building lease.
So,
No, go ahead.
sorry. Again, this is one that I asked to be put on here because I had calendared it last year so that I wouldn't forget. We were doing annual leases. So the one that Brett actually added was the old one. We actually do have a new one from last year. Commencement date, May 16th, 2022, termination date, May 15th, 2023. So we probably need to go ahead and discuss that. I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of time. So if we didn't make a decision this month, we were gonna have to make one next month before the expiration date.
Yeah. I certainly don't have a problem with them continuing to lease. I'm assuming they're going to want to continue to lease, especially after we're updating the building, but
Do we know from
I
rumor
thought you mentioned they
mill,
had some place sales. You didn't? Okay, I imagine that.
Well, me,
and did I hear correctly that Donna retired? Okay, do you know who took her place, is taking her place? Is that an open item?
I know because I'm on the chamber board and they have an applicant and have offered the position, but I don't know if that person has accepted, so I really can't say a name.
Yeah.
But everybody here, I think, will know the person.
Okay. Because I want to make sure, obviously, that we have their contact information, because we try to keep them updated, like, you know,
Absolutely.
when we're gonna do.
okay. Yeah, and last thing I'm gonna do is put that chamber in a spot where like they don't realize that their lease is coming in.
I think there's going to be, the chamber luncheon is tomorrow at noon at Prairie House, and I think there's going to be an announcement there. That's the only reason I'm not saying it right now.
No, that's fine.
We had a meeting, we had a board meeting yesterday, we all voted, and the offer was supposed to be made either today or yesterday. And I don't know if it's been accepted. So
Okay. Should we go ahead and maybe put this off until the next meeting? I mean, to be able to discuss that, are you comfortable with saying yes or no for another year?
Oh,
It's,
I would think that I can't
it's a
speak for the chamber.
yearly rent of $10, so I don't know if that's.
that's a lot of money.
I think they'll be okay with it, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't want to make a decision for them. I mean, it's not like there's a breaking the lease clause either,
Right,
so.
I'm just one member of the board, so I wouldn't want to say that, yes, you know, tied to it, but I think if you did it next month, that they would be fine with that as well.
Okay,
And I thought, did it,
I'm told
at one
my
time that we
co-worker-
discussed, not trying to break your $10, but that we might up that
Yeah,
with the new stuff and adding chairs and making it a little more. I thought that we might be open to
That was
upping that
discussed.
just a little bit.
I don't see where it's something though that we can. If we go from $10 to, you know, $500 a month, they haven't budgeted for that. That's not a discussion that's been held. That's not something where we've given them an appropriate amount of time. You know, I know we had talked about it, but my opinion only, I don't feel like that's fair to say, all right, it was 10 years last year, but now it's gonna be.
It's 10 a month now instead of 10 a year. or something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that
Well,
leaves
as
a
long
bad
as-
taste in my mouth.
As long as we have access to the conference room, the city has access to the conference room, when we come in and have meetings,
We're gonna
that
be
kind of.
adding it.
Then that
That's
makes it-
exactly what this building
You
is
still need that
for,
executive in here, right?
you know, collecting rent from the chamber that's here, using it periodically is not gonna change our bottom
Agenda,
line
right.
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's gonna be a, you know, 100th or 1,000th of 1%. So I mean, it's not a big deal. I just want to make sure that once we get the building fixed up and nice, that the people that need to use it to do city business have access to the building.
I agree. So I'm not saying no, but in my opinion, I would say not at this time.
So we don't need to take action on this item yet.
No, no, in fact, I
I
just
see
need
Chris shaking his
to,
head now.
yeah, we can't. I mean, we could, but I need to be honest, find an actual copy of this other than this one.
Mhm.
So maybe we can include this on the agenda for next month, please.
So discussion only, and then we'll have the item again in April.
Would you want me to have Brett talk to the new director once that person's identified and just make sure they're good with the and I'm not clear if you all are, it doesn't sound like you're all real fired up to increase the rent, so
I just brought it up, it's been mentioned before.
yeah. I understand. I just am trying to get clear direction to Brett on what you want him to do. I think it's pretty obvious we need to get a final new agreement for that would begin in May. But the question is, do you want him to have discussions about increasing that nominal amount to something actual, or just
I
leave
think-
it the way it is?
Leave it the way it is.
Yeah, I think not increasing, but I would like him to have a discussion with the chamber to make sure that they indeed want to have this building leased after May.
Okay,
I think we also need to have something that least that we do have, if we're giving it for 10, that we do have the right to use it, just because we had somebody else come in and say, no, we lease the building.
Mhm.
I think we have that listed. Well, we did a
it's
year-
it's in the old one that was
Yeah,
that
allow
Brett
the
had.
allow the Keep Pottery Beautiful Committee and the landlord to use the conference area and to keep a business desk and business file storage in the leased premises for their use.
Conference room, desk and storage.
But that's the old one too, we just need to check our.
Yeah.
This is the
Is that the
one,
new one you found? Okay,
Yeah.
because the one I had in here.
No, yeah, so the one was in the packet was the old
Okay,
5-year with 1-year rolls, and then this is the one.
okay.
this is the one that termination date, May 15th,
Okay.
2023.
If folks next door would have a meeting in here, I think they ought to be able to have that, so I don't know if that needs to be.
Well, wait.
Huh?
So if the landlord, if the Auburn Municipal Development District says, hey, we need to be able to use the conference room.
Okay, but say we don't want, say Charles wants to bring a group of big shots in here, sit down at the table and talk. Well, they ought to be able to do that.
Within about 90 days, the Auburn Municipal Executive Director will be answered to.
Then
the city
that's all
manager.
the problem.
So, I mean,
I just want to make sure that this,
that's a good point.
yeah, I just want to make sure, but yeah, it needs, it's got access to it. There's not
See, that's
some
what I was saying, I think there ought to be
silly
something
clause
in
in
there
here
that
that
says,
somebody could say. no.
not just landlord, because we're the landlords, if somebody else in the city needed to use it, that it could be used at that.
We can say, hey, we're gonna use it. Charles, here's the key. We need you to go ahead and.
That's what I was gonna ask.
We
you.
just,
Do you
Who
still
has
need my
access
key?
to the key to get in here?
I do, Vicky normally does, Jack's got it now for
It's
construction.
pretty.
I think Public Works has one. don't they? This is our green room for concerts.
Yeah.
So I think Public Works has it. So maybe.
I have one while we're doing the construction. I've had 2 keys made. I've given the builder one and one of his guys had one, so I've got 2 keys that are floating around. When they get through the construction, I will get those 2 keys back. I have Vicky's key. That's 3 keys that will be available at that point.
So if you needed to have access.
I have a key because I used to be on the Keep Pottery Beautiful board.
I got mine from you.
Yeah, I gave it to you when I turned it over.
All right, so Chris, you'll have Brett potentially reach out, and again, no change to the dollar amount. We really just want to make sure that they're good with continuing.
Yeah, you need a new proposed lease agreement with those access questions in the lease and have that a copy given to the new director so that you can have it ready for approval next month is what I'm hearing.
Right, and no need for you to actually have the agreement. I have it. I just need to get it electronically sent. So
To
there's
the
nothing
new
for him.
director.
Well,
Yeah.
and to Brett, because Brett had the old one from
Okay.
2020 or 15 or something like that.
Yeah, as long as he's got the one he needs, that's all he'll want
Well-
to be able to send to that person.
Yeah, the one that he had that he sent to us was the old one.
Okay, I'll
So
let him know.
tell him to delete that out of his stuff and tell him I'll send him something updated.
Okay, perfect.
While we're
please.
talking about the building, let's make sure that we get pest control contract somewhere. That's never gonna come up again, but we need to have, we could do that as part of the lease to them, that we're responsible for pest control. But, you know, the mouse problem around here, I think filling up all these holes and stuff is gonna eliminate that. I think that's gonna solve it, but it's never gonna be an agenda item that we're gonna think about to get that on there. So if it's part of that lease and it's handled.
Well, I also have it under, I just put it under future agenda
There you go.
requests.
Perfect. Just whatever. And so just take our opportunity and bring it up.
Yeah. And
So-
then-
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
So no further action on the lease, no official voting action
Correct.
necessary at this point. So future agenda requests, board members, city staff and citizens may request items included in our future agendas. Discussion is limited to what the request is for and if and when the item can be put on a future agenda. Jack, I think you have 2 items you want to put on a future agenda, right?
I don't think this ought to be on the agenda. Yes, I do, absolutely.
Well, but I think you,
The special.
We need to have, the building needs to be, conversations about the building repairs obviously need to be on the agenda until the project is complete, paid for.
so we'll put them on every regular one. If we have to do a special, we'll put it on there too. Did you want to bring up an item for the museum?
Well, yeah, we could discuss that. I've got a price, while these guys are pricing stuff out there, I gave, I think I talked to Charles about it. And they gave me a price to paint the exterior of that building. If you're gonna do that, that would be something you'd want on your special,
Okay.
because
They're not
they're not gonna come
They're not
back
gonna come
six
back. They're gonna do
weeks
it while-
and you can do that for what they're gonna do while they're painting it.
Is there anything that we need to worry about as far as like when they actually go to paint it, like, oh shoot, there's damage here, we're gonna open that can of worms?
You're not gonna go in and for what you're willing to spend, you're not gonna go in and fix every pop mark and every little deal on the outside of these buildings. I mean, you're talking a whole different price range. Okay? You know, it's like the city hall over there. You can go through there, there's all kinds of broken bricks and this and that. I mean, they painted over them and hey, it's fine.
Is that something that we should not ask, but ask the museum board to see if they're okay if we paint the building? They may not be. And I understand we own it.
That's why it's up for, it can be up for discussion. I just got a price to paint it, to keep the 3 buildings the same. If that's something everybody wants to do, I know what it's gonna cost to do it, and I don't have an opinion one way or the other.
I'm not messing with Mrs. Carter. You all can, but I'm not.
Yeah, you don't want to anger the museum people.
Who gets a cold, and I should go with that. I just don't know the first.
But I like the old red brick building.
I like the red brick
I wanted
building.
to do this in red brick on the front, you know, but I mean, it just wouldn't.
To me, that's classic. That's what a museum is supposed to look like. Again, my opinion.
I have very low bar on paint or not paint, so.
Well, and to be honest, we can't discuss it anyway. So
Yeah.
we need to, did we decide whether we were going to do a special meeting?
Well, we need to do a special.
So are we going to do that Monday,
Do you
Friday,
guys want to talk about that?
Saturday?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I don't know that I want, do you guys really want to talk about your personal schedules in open session that's being recorded?
I'm good Monday. My personal schedule says I'm good Monday.
I don't care. I'm good Monday.
Well,
Good Monday.
so if we do Monday, we gotta post the agenda Thursday, right? Or no,
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
Wednesday by
So we
6.
have to post it tomorrow.
But it's a short agenda.
Brett is unavailable, so we'll probably need Flint City Resources to create the agenda.
We can do that.
Okay, or Vicky Resources.
Well, since we're talking about future agenda items, do you, we can wait till the next regular meeting or whatever you want to do, but I'd like to possibly talk about some retail development.
Oh, that wasn't on this one either. You told us last month.
I know, and I forgot.
I'm sorry,
That was
Charlie.
on
Well, we
me.
do have economic development negotiations as a
Executive session.
executive
Okay,
session.
all right, okay. good.
So if you have something that, especially if it's early on, it might need to stay
Well, and
confidential.
frankly, we probably need to have development on there just going forward. At the very least, and we say we don't have any update. I just put that
You
on.
got that on there?
Okay, so I will get a special meeting to Jenny first thing in the morning. And that will have the building update and action. Correct? Is there
Yes,
anything else that
yeah,
needs to be on the
consideration.
special meeting? ED stuff?
Well, let's put the museum on there so we can actually discuss it
Okay,
and make a decision whether we're gonna even talk to the museum, but hey, do we want to paint it? We may decide we don't want to.
and I'm
I don't think
assuming,
they're gonna cough up the money to do it, so it's gonna be us.
Monday at 6 PM.
Is it good for everybody?
I'm good.
So that's the 20th.
Yep.
Okay,
Um,
I'll get that.
thank you.
Chris, don't worry, I'll get that to Jenny. So nothing
Okay,
to do there either. Okay, so anything else for,
Not
my
for,
eyes are starting to water.
I don't have anything else for the regular, any other future agenda requests, anyone? Once, twice, we're going.
You've got the board member deal, that's part of that. right? The new board member application.
That'll be for next month, yeah.
Right, but
Yeah, and I've
you've
got, so I
that on
have the targeted improvement grant on there for next month. The applications to serve on the AMDD board, and then the building lease, pest control, building repairs for each agenda, development update for each agenda. Did I miss anything? Okay,
I think so. You chop it two specials, that's different, so yeah.
Okay.
Okay, executive session, I am going to strike one of these because our attorney is not online. So in accordance with Government Code Section 551.001, the Aubrey Municipal District will recess into executive session or closed meeting to discuss the following. Striking constitutional attorney, our attorney is not online. Section 551.074 personnel matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of an executive director. 551.087 economic development negotiations to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information the city has received for a business prospect. The city seeks to have locate, stay, or expand internet territory city, and with which the city is conducting economic development negotiations and or deliberate the offer of financial or other incentive to the business prospect. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we close open session at 6:39 and open executive session at 6:39.
Motion by Vicky, second by Johnny, all in favor? So Chris, when she pauses the recording, I'm gonna call you on my cell phone and just put you on speaker.
okay, sounds good. You got my number.
Yep. Okay, we are back in open session at 7:44 PM. We don't have any action items
Nope.
from executive session, so Jack, do I
I'll make
hear?
a motion to adjourn.
At what time, Jack? 7:45.
7:45, I think is what Jack was about to say. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Jack
Jack made a motion. Johnny seconded.
Okay.
All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Chris, thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Yeah, bye.
Good job, man.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
But by the way, folks, keep my,